you have a question or a comment for my guest this evening, then why not text 07900 171 453, or if you're listening via the Swindon 105.5 app or website, just click on the Contact Us button and that will email me directly here in the studio.
Sing me a summer song. I'll raise my voice to everything that's wrong. Your talk of a better day, my thoughts a million miles away. I don't care what they say. White noise in my head, and I'm lost to the world. Now I'm lost to the world. I am lost to the world. I am lost to the ones I thought I loved, and I'm lost to you. I am a child screaming down the slide, but the rush can't fill the space inside. Once I was the one. Now I guess that I'm no fun. I'm dead to the sound as my feet hit the ground, and I'm lost to the world. Now I'm lost to the world. I'm lost to the world. I'm lost to the ones I thought I loved, and I'm lost to the world. Now I'm lost to the world. I'm lost to the world. I'm lost to the ones I thought I loved, even you. Even you. Even you. Even you.
Hello and good evening and welcome to Don't Stop the Music radio show. My name is Peggy-Sue and I am your host. The song you just heard there is from my guest this evening, or rather, he's one member of the band, or should I say multiple bands. So first off, let's welcome to the studio Phil. Hello, how are you?
Hello Peggy-Sue, I'm fine, thank you. I've just had a lovely kebab from your local kebab retailer who said they would give us it cheap if we advertised them.
Oh,
So,
lovely.
Pop down the Leiden kebab shop. Lovely. Job has been done.
There you go, you've done what you meant to. So that song there was called Lost to the World by the Crow Collective, which is band 1 of 3 this evening.
Yeah.
So tell me about 1, the song, and 2, about the Crow Collective.
So the song, let me talk about the Crow Collective first, because of course the singer, wonderful Jane Reck, that's her real name, lives in Swindon.
Yep.
She lives in Haydenwick. We met years ago when we were at college, and we were in a band then. And then the band, like all teenage bands, fell apart.
Yeah.
We had some acrimonious row about where the direction of the movement was going. Not Jane and I, but all the whole band. And then I bumped into her years later in a pub, and we kind of decided, let's have a little go, and we'll do a little kind of experiment. We'll do a Crow collective, and it was us two and her husband Andrew. He played bass, and we got together and we did 4 songs, and we released the EP as kind of Tales of Yore and More, and that's one of the songs on there. But that was a song we did years ago in the last century.
Oh wow!
And we just rehashed it for this that EP.
Well, sometimes it's good to go visit back tracks, isn't it? Because you kind of listen to it and go, I would change it there now, I can change it there now, and you just and you make it more streamlined, I suppose, because it's be quite raw. Definitely.
And of course things have moved on since then. You know, when we were first recording in the last century, you got your guitars and your drums, and you went into a studio that looked a bit like yours, Peggy-Sue, with all the baffles on the wall, and you recorded it, and there was a guy, and you were all smoking, and you were drinking, and you thought that would make you play better, but it never was. And we recorded things like that as a band. But nowadays, of course, you can just use a laptop. You can go around someone's house. You can send them the track, and then they send it back, which is what we did, because we recorded that just after lockdown. And we kind of did it over the internet, of course. But her voice, thankfully, it got better as she's got older. And kind of that's the other thing that happens, especially if you're a singer. Your voice becomes a bit more mature with age, and you get a bit more wiser, and it's kind of, I think that's reflected in the song. It's quite a sad song, and it kind of reflects all the things that have happened in our lives as we've got older, kind of thing.
So, as you said, you came in the Crow Collective after meeting back up again, and that. But to me, when I saw the name Crow Collective, as I was saying to you before we came on air, is my partner bought a tarot deck which was actually called the Crow Collective, and it's all different images of crows. So when I saw that, it was like, and that's the image that came into my mind, was all these tarot cards, and you're going to pick a tarot card and you're going to try and make a song about what's happening on that card.
Well, and I mean, kind of by coincidence, it's supposed to. That was a kind of more. Each of the 3 bands we're going to talk about, they got a kind of different feel. And that band, we kind of trying to be kind of dark, folky rock. So one of the other songs on that EP is a kind of folk song, famous folk song about a guy. It's about a woman called My Bonnie Lad. She's looking for a boyfriend. She's asking people about where he's gone, and he's gone to sea, and he's died at sea on a whaling ship. And it's that kind of dark folk. And we tried to capture that. So it wasn't just kind of rock. It was a bit more folky as well. Kind of the dark world where the tarot cards might come in.
Exactly. Now remember, if you have any questions or comments for my guest this evening, you can text 07900 171 453, or if you're listening via the app or via the website, do click on that message us button and it will email me directly here in the studio. Now, as I said, we've got 3 bands to talk about. So how did you get involved in all these different bands?
Well, basically, as you can see, Peggy-Sue, but the audience go, I mean, I'd like to pretend you're talking to a 35-year-old young man, but I am getting on in years. And basically, I was in various bands when I was a young man, play guitar, proper, old school bands, as I was kind of mentioned there, one with Jane Reck. But then I kind of stopped playing for quite a long time. And then, I discovered that in the modern world, you can record, a whole band sound just on a laptop. You can use, the technology has come on leaps and bounds. So when I came to thinking of doing some songs, I kind of got in contact with people who I knew, I'd met before, who I'd met quite recently, and kind of said, why don't we do some work on music there? And kind of did it then. Whereas in the old days, you'd have been in a garage playing through kind of
annoying the neighbours.
Not very much annoying the neighbours. I mean, it probably still annoys the neighbours, but you can do it all kind of more personally, and you can express yourself a bit better. And if you come up with an idea, you don't have to just kind of spend weeks knocking it around. You can kind of process it more quickly. And so it kind of gave me a chance to actually, do all the things I'd done before, but without any of the kind of practical problems. And so I kind of joined with 3 different kind of groups. One was Jane, as I mentioned. The other was we'll talk about shortly, no doubt.
We will indeed. So then, obviously, you said that one is the Crow Collective, and the next 3 songs we're going to play are all from the Storm Petrels. So why the Storm Patrols. What are they about?
Well, they are. The reason there's 3 of them is that we're just about to release an album, and actually we've got some financial support to make a vinyl album out of it.
Oh,
so
lovely! I do like a good vinyl. The scratchiness of a vinyl.
Yeah, exactly, and that sound as the needle clicks down. So we're releasing an album, just to be out in the summer. Basically, I don't want to give the impression that I'm obsessed with birds, but of course Storm Petrel is another kind of bird, not in the crow family this time, and probably not on any tarot cards, because I think it's basically like a seagull or something like that. And that's that bird, and that's kind of, so we're starting in Swindon. They're a bit more kind of international, so they're kind of mixtures, a couple of London people, someone from America, and kind of I wrote the songs, got together with them, suggested we play it, they contributed various stuff, and we've kind of made an album now, and we've got a few other songs that are out obviously on Bandcamp and all that stuff, and that's the Storm Petrels really. So it's got a bit more, and you'll hear that hasn't got any West Country sound to the singers, because actually they're singers from America, so it's a bit more, and it's a bit more poppy as well. We wanted to do a bit less, we didn't want to do that dark folky world. It was a bit more poppy, kind of that kind of ABBA-y type world. And whether we succeeded in that, people can judge for themselves.
And also let us know. So as you said, it's a different sound, which is great. Is that why you've got the 3 bands? Are they all 3 are different sounds to each other? So that means you've got the different genres, which then goes to the question: what type of genre of music are you into?
And you're spot on. They are consciously different kind of genres. So the Crow Collective, more dark, folky, folk rock. The Storm Petrels, more poppy. And the last band, which we'll talk about, is more kind of punky. And I kind of think, and you've had it on your show, you'll have people on, and they'll come on and they'll say they're goths.
I've had one band that have said they are goth.
Right.
One. The whole time I've done this show.
But then you'll ask them and they'll say, we like Taylor Swift or whatever. And I kind of think you can't really just say you're a heavy rock band or you're goths or you're rock.
They did a brilliant cover, a very gothic, dark cover of Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis Presley.
Oh, great song.
And it was fantastic. Yeah. It was like, oh my God, I would never have figured that to hear it like this. Which is another good thing, is it doesn't matter what type of genre of music you're in. Actually, it doesn't matter if you do a cover or an original, but if you do a cover and do it your way, it can sound fantastic.
And I think that's what, when people listen to music, you never just go and think, I'm only going to listen to that kind of music. Everyone's got their kind of guilty secret, and everyone's got their, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about our own guilty secrets about music. So they're each consciously a different voice, and each one of those bands, I think, is something that says that what I and the people I'm working with is kind of view on the world. And I've got no problem with that. I think you constrain yourself if you just say, we're this genre. And I very much agree with you about the cover. So the last band we'll talk about today, we did a cover on one of our songs. I didn't do it today because I didn't want to risk any copyright stuff.
Oh, you haven't got that on this show, you're fine.
I might have suggested, because we did an Elvis song called Run On, with a classic, an old kind of spiritual song, and it's been covered by, everyone's covered it. Moby covered it, and Tom Jones has covered it, and we did that, and we really enjoyed it. And we started off thinking we'll play it like Elvis, and of course we didn't play it like Elvis. We couldn't play it like Elvis, so we played it like us, and actually really enjoyed it. And it came out, as you say, comes out with a different voice, but it's something something personal to you. So, but sadly I didn't bring that along today. We'd be hearing it now.
No, but the next one we're going to hear is "When You're Lost" by the Storm Petrels. So tell me the story behind this song.
Well, it's sadly, like a lot of these songs, it dawned on me when I was talking to you about the songs that, there's a lot of these are actually quite sad. It is a sad song. But it's also a kind of song with a kind of bit of positive, hopeful message. It's about someone who's kind of sees their loved one, their child, their father, their friend, their mother, whatever, kind of is worried about them. It sees them going along the path, maybe making some mistakes, and it kind of wants to stand by them and hold them. So it's a little bit tacky and cheesy, but actually it meant a lot to us when we were writing and recording it.
Well, here it is. This is "When You're Lost." That is definitely more, I would say, not quite poppy like you said, but more folky again, but in the Fisherman Friends style. Yeah. You can just see them starting to get a bottle of rum and stuff.
Yeah. No, I take that point. And I always, if you'd have asked me when I was a young man, will you ever like that kind of folky, soft stuff? I'd have said no. But as you get older,
your taste change.
Yeah, and your horizons grow, and you kind of value. So I always value a good tune and a good bit of emotion in any song, and whatever that genre is, I'll like it if that's what it does to me. So, and that's what we try to do in those songs, and particularly that one. But yeah, we'll find out when we hear some of the other songs. It's quite successful. And the Storm Petrels, actually, we've done quite a lot of faster songs, a lot more poppy songs.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought, sometimes your best material is the kind of the slower stuff, and you go with your best material, is my view.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And as you said, that is also it shows the different sort of timing and the different style of the music as well, because that one still be poppy, but it's also, it can fit into 2, maybe 3 genres, which means it broadens the horizons for your listeners and your audience.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, whilst that was playing, we was talking, you were saying about Jane from the Crow Collective, and that she also used to be in the radio. She used to be on BBC.
Yeah, she was on BBC Wiltshire. And she, we've spoken a lot about her experience in local radio, and I'm suspect it'd be the same for you. It's hard work. You're coming in at odd hours sometimes. You make it sound as if you're just casually chatting. But you've done a load of homework. There's a lot of skill and preparation gone into that, and the best journalists sound like they're just having a chat, but actually there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
And you've got to remember it all as well, because as you can have a look on the 2 screens I've got in front of me, there is nothing on there to show me anything about you. just the song names and who they're by. Yeah. That's it, and the timings.
And what I will say, I have to confess, I'm quite a lazy man, and I sent the songs over quite late.
You did.
And yet you've listened to them all, you kind of spoke about it, you know them, and that's kind of, I always appreciate that kind of effort in any job in any world, and that's what Jane, before she sang on that EP, she would say, it's really hard work, and you've got local journalists, local presenters, local DJs, they know what's happening in the world around them, and we were talking about, it's kind of politicians, they sometimes think they're going to get easy ride from the local journalists and interviewers, and they never do.
No.
You know what's happening, you'll know what's happening in Swindon better than I've got no problem with BBC Radio 4 or whatever, or Radio 2 or Radio 1 or whatever, but actually I think the heart of radio is in local radio, actually, very much so.
And to be fair now, local radio is actually a dying thing. You're just trying to find someone that is quite local can be quite hard, because BBC, unfortunately, BBC Wiltshire, then they used to have BBC Swindon and BBC Wiltshire, and they used to have their local people, and now then it's now BBC West, isn't it? So now we have Wiltshire, Devon and Cornwall, and they cover a bigger area, so it's not quite so local anymore.
And it's a shame, really, because you can have a local radio show. It can reach out to a bigger audience. You're on Spotify. People don't have to kind of switch their little dial as they go past in a car and get the radio anymore. So all the technology's there, and all the you've got Facebook page. You can communicate with the world. And it's a shame that the kind of the authorities, whatever you want to call the BBC or whatever, kind of stifles that, and everything becomes a kind of homogenous product when it shouldn't really be that, and it doesn't cost a lot for it not to be that way.
No, so. Exactly. It's just how things are now in this world.
That's it.
Now, you were saying earlier about when you were saying on this one you've got members of the band that's in America, you're yourself from Stroud now, and then you've got people from Swindon and wider areas as well. Did you find, because you said about you come out of lockdown and you were using the internet to send tracks, do you think that actually made it, with lockdown, do you think that grew that more? So there's a lot more bands out there that now aren't in the same area, that they are now widespread, and they can now, you can play guitar and do a riff and then send it off to the drummer, and or send it off to a bassist or a double bassist or whatever, and then a vocalist, do you find it's more, how I can put it, more prevalent now in the music industry, or do you think it's actually made it wider ranging?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, the old days, everyone knew that kind of rock music was about you and your mates in a garage. You'd all had local experiences. You'd be brought up together. You'd have probably put an advert out and got some bass player in, because you have to do that with the drummer. You have to do that with the drummer. And you gained a lot by that. It would be people who kind of maybe went to school together. They're in there. They'll go and do a gig at a local pub, and they'll play in front of an audience. They'll build the audience up, and that was brilliant in those days. But nowadays, I've got a friend of mine called Rob Boyd. He's a great musician. He lives on the south coast, and he records with an Argentinian rhythm section, and he'll record his track. He'll send it down to these Argentinians, and they'll record their music and they'll send it back. And it's the same with me. A lot of the vocals that were recorded for the Storm Petrels were recorded in America, and I would do that. You lose the kind of face-to-face thing where you play together and someone say, "Oh, that's brilliant riff," or that's a fantastic lyric. Why don't you? You'll lose that kind of face-to-face communication. But you also gain in that you can have a kind of breadth of people's experiences. So typically for all these three bands, I'll generally write the music, and then I will send it to people in a rough version or a version with my appalling singing, and then I'll send it to people, and then they will work magic, and they will send back a vocal track that kind of opens up the world in a way my drone didn't do, or a bass riff where I'd written a bass riff on a little keyboard and a bass emulator, and they'll send something back, the real thing, through an amp. So I'll happily say that I wrote these songs, but I don't think anyone who's in a band who pretends to be the songwriter can say they're the only person who writes it, because a band works best when everyone contributes.
When they all work together. And you sometimes find that it's like you've sang something, and it's like, actually that word or that wording doesn't go quite right, maybe change it to this, and you're like, and then that's how it all evolves.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, as you said earlier, with when I put Lost to the World on, is that you sang that in the last century, and then you've come back into this century and you've changed it slightly, because obviously Jane's voice is now changed, and things mature, shall we say. And you may have changed a couple of bits of wording in there, or even just the riff slightly you've changed. But again, that's because it's evolved.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the advantages there, so I think we're going to play, I don't know if it's next or whether we're going to play it in a while, a song called The Birds.
It is actually next. There you go. We can talk about that now then.
All right. It's a very, very sad song. It's one of those songs where it pretends to be about one thing, and then you realise that it's not really about that. So it pretends to be about birds. I'm sorry, this obsession with birds seems to be coming in.
It does actually, doesn't
it? but as it goes through, it was written after hearing a person on the radio, a mother on the radio, talking about child suicide, and you realise it's about young people, and it is about young people who take their lives. And then, I wrote that, and then I shared that with one of the one of the singers. And they added something to the lyrics, which I could never carry. So back to what you'd said earlier, different people's experiences in different genres and different worlds and different continents, in the case of the Storm Petrels, kind of brings something to a song which is not quite the same as being in a band and all shouting at each other in the room, but it still brings something in that wasn't there, and it's better because of that. So it's one of my favourite songs of the songs we did, another slow one. Sadly, for the rhythm of the show. But it's a very, very sad song, and I'm glad that you've given us a chance to play it, to be honest.
Well, here it is. This is The Birds.
Mike Ganley's Crooked Road, Americana, acoustic and roots music on Swindon 105.5, Thursday evening, 8 to 10. Listen again, 2 minutes past midnight on Wednesday. Listen on air, on digital radio in Swindon and Marlborough, online, on smart speakers, and on our station mobile app.
Don't Stop the Music radio show is a dedicated show for musicians to share their music across the airwaves, whether they're local, national or international artists, with guests every week discussing and sharing their music, whether they're here in the studio or via the wonders of technology. So join me, Peggy-Sue, live every Tuesday between 8 and 9 p.m. Plus, Don't Stop the Music radio show Extra is on every Saturday between 7 and 9 p.m. But that's not all. You can now catch Don't Stop the Music radio show on Spotify, Amazon Music and Patreon every Friday at 7 p.m. So what are you waiting for? And get your music heard on Swindon 105.5. And you can also now catch us on YouTube as well on the podcast side. So you can always catch up as well. So if you missed the start of the show or anything, you can still listen to the whole thing. Or if you like one of the songs itself, you can just tune into that one section. So that's a good thing. So that there, as we said, was The Birds. And as you said, yes, it was quite a sad song. But again, it just shows, to me, it's that folky, how do I put that story? To me, it sounds like a bit like a Moby Dick thing. You know, when you've got the songs all to do with the sea?
Yeah, it was true. It's true. It's got that feel. And as I say, on some of the other... So even though they're very different, you know, there's more strings, got a higher voice, you know, it's still got that sea shanty element as the other band we spoke about before, the Crow Collective with that song My Bonnie Lad. So yeah, I guess you can't these things have to keep coming through.
Yeah,
you try or not.
So what's your process in the songwriting? Because obviously if you've got 3 different bands, which we'll talk about the third one later in the show, you've got 3 different bands. How do you find to do the songwriting in between, as in that one's definitely for the Crow Collective and that one's definitely for the Storm Petrels, or that one's for the third one we're going to talk about later?
Well, like most sad songwriters, you know, most of the songs I write are written in my bedroom with a guitar, and that's how I write most of my music. Even now we've got all the keyboard. I've got all the keyboards. You know, I've got all the kind of software.
You've got your mobile phone there because a lyric's just come into your mind and you're like, quickly, I better take it.
Exactly. Joe's a bit sick and tired of that. I've got a little, it's effectively like a dictaphone.
Yeah.
And I just do it into the phone when something comes up. It's going to be a bit annoying when Joe's trying to talk about something and I just say, oh, sorry, I've got this phone. Yeah, you know, you do it. You know, everyone likes to play the guitar in their bedroom and write up songs. And you know, as you sing it, you're going to kind of get an idea of what's going on in your mind about how it might sound. And that's really how I kind of decide. If it's with the first one with Jane Reck, we kind of more or less set aside a special project and we said we'll do 4 songs and then we'll put them out. So with that, it was a bit more like this is going to be a song for them.
Yeah.
But often it will just be whichever one you think sounds best for a kind of sound. As I say, the Storm Petrel's more kind of string based and more kind of higher voice, more harmony based. So those songs come out sounding like that. That said, the song we're going to hear in a bit is more, you know, it's a hard, punky type song, but I think it sounds good for the fact that she's got quite a soft voice, high voice, and I kind of like the way that high voice is singing some quite kind of punky type lyrics. So sometimes you can cut
each
across.
other.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are going to play that one next.
Oh, fine.
So it's Isla d'Amour. So what is Isla d'Amour?
Well, it's using Google Translate. It's a translation of Love Island. So the song, I don't know if you remember, like, you know, these songs that they were more trendy a while ago, where they would have like little vignettes about stories, like Eleanor Rigby, for example. You know, it starts off talking about Eleanor Rigby, then the next verse you're going to be talking about Father Mackenzie, or Velvet Underground songs, or that Lou Reed song Walk on the Wild Side, where each verse tells a little story about a character, and that's what this song tries to be like. So it's got a series of little kind of stories from famous lovers in history. So it's about Love Island. There's a little story about each pairs of lovers. So it starts off with famous lovers, Tristan and Isolde. Then it moves on to a song about from Greek myth about Leda and a relationship with god Zeus. Then it moves on to a famous story. But it dawns on you that each of these little love stories ended badly. So it's a comedy song, but it's a fairly bleak message about the fact that each of these little lovers ended up in tragedy, and it's kind of set on an imaginary love island, whereas instead of all the beautiful bronzed 20-somethings, there's all these characters whose romances were doomed, and it kind of ends on a crescendo where it didn't end very well, and it dawns on you this person's love affair isn't necessarily with another partner, it's with just the notion of love and dying through love. So it's a very depressing but also a black comedy. We'd call that black comedy.
Very Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, very Romeo and Juliet. Although ironically Romeo and Juliet are the only couple that don't get a mention.
Well, here it is. This is Isla d'Amour.
Tristan and Isolde, lowly witch and lonely soldier, thought his lovers of a lover never knew. Lovers think the potion's meant for two. Leda and her lover, red blood upon the feather. All those gods can take whatever they desire, burning just like us in mortal fire. Dodie and Diana had a love life made of glamour, hating all the waiting as a wife, worshipped as a queen in afterlife. And lovers always love the things they do, but lovers never love like me and you. We're on our way across the ocean, we're on our way around the world or the seven seas. There lies an island, get the engines ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, baby, we're gone. We're flying high, baby, we're gone. Up in the sky, baby, we're gone. Oh me, oh my, we don't care if we die. Let's go, you know, we're Love Island bound. Isabella's fella never ever got to tell her how the world can cut you down before your prime. They never let the lovers have their time. Rudolph and his mistress thought that suicide was painless, but forgot the words that all the mothers know. Lovers always reap the things they sow. Sweet Carol and the driver in the badlands of Nebraska, screaming faces printed on her eyes. Lovers kill the world before it dies, and lovers always love the things they do, but lovers never love like me and you. We're on our way across the ocean, we're on our way around the world or the seven seas. There lies an island, get the engines ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, baby, we're gone. We're flying high, baby, we're gone. Up in the sky, baby, we're gone. Oh me, oh my, we don't care if we die. Let's go, you know, we're Love Island bound. All that endless craving, all the rocking and the raving, all the chasing and the choosing
Definitely a lot more punchier than the ones we've played so far.
Generally, most of the songs on all these, most of the songs on the Storm Petrels are quite fast. But as I say, we ended up picking up the slow ones generally. But that's a good fast one, and I do like the way she sings. I think she sings that really, really well.
Yeah.
Over what was, when I sang that sounded like a very poor version of the Buzzcocks. I'm not sure if anyone will remember the Buzzcocks in Swindon, but they were a good band, and it sounded like that when I sang it. So I like the way the kind of fragile vocals work with that song.
So we're now going from the Storm Petrels to Your Friend's Choir of Eternal Fire. Now that's quite a mouthful.
I very much regret that name. I don't mind the others, and I like Bird. I think if I'd have started that band now, I would have given it a Bird name, like everything else. They're all under my record label, Jackdaw Records.
Yeah.
Another Bird.
Another Bird. Yeah.
As you know, my contact name's Jackdaw, so they're all Bird names. But this wasn't, and it was because it reflects the fact that I started this a bit earlier as a kind of joke. I started it off. I hadn't written music for a long time, and I did a CD for some of my friends, a Christmas CD, and as a joke, I kind of your friends because it was all to my friends, Choir of Eternal Fire, and so we did that, and then of course I'd paid for the SoundCloud thing to put them on. And then, of course, I had the name. I thought, I've got to write some more songs. So I was stuck with that name, even though I very much regret it. And I wish I hadn't named it. And the singer who's involved in that really, really dislikes the name. So basically, we regret that now. But we did it anyway. And I like the song. It's a bit more punky. So the people I work with there are from South London. The singer Elodie Fielding, another one with a fantastic voice. And there's a local South London rapper who sings on one of the other songs, but not this one. And kind of we work again. I go down in London, actually, going to London. We record the vocals actually in person there, and it's a bit more of a collaborative songwriting process there. So I enjoy that greatly, and I don't enjoy the name, and I apologise to you and all the listeners and the singer Elodie for that name. But some of my favourite songs that we do were from that band. We've done some right ropey ones as well. I did one song called Folie à deux, which is, of course, French for kind of fantasy that two people have. And I thought it was fantastic. And then I found out Lady Gaga, who we've also discussed, was in the film and had done a song. And I thought, I'll still stick with it in the hope that people might put their name in the search engine and think they were getting Lady Gaga. And then they'd get my song and I'd get loads of royalties for it. Of course, none of that happened. 7 people have listened to that song. It's a very poor song. The singer didn't like it, but I thought it was going to make me a lot of money.
But the song we are going to play is Summer of Love, which we are coming up to the summer, so there you go. Now, tell me about this song.
Well, this was another one. This is another slow one. I promise the listeners of Swindon, these aren't all slow. But this one, I asked my partner to say what her favourite song was, and she picked this one. And I was surprised by it because it was a kind of song from the past. It is very slow, and it's a very simple song. But she made me listen to it with fresh ears. And it's just a simple song about looking back at a love from the past. There is a bit of a twist to it that I wrote this while I was watching the show Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, I've not seen that, but yeah.
And of course, it's a song about kind of TV show about, and of course, a great novel about a dystopian future. And there's a little twist in that it's about two lovers. So it's about a person remembering their love from the past, and it dawns on you as you're listening that this person hasn't quite ever escaped from that past, that they're always haunted by the relationship from this person in the past. And that's fine, that's classic love story fare. And you have first verse, second verse, then you have a violin instrumental where I took a very good violin part and completely destroyed it by putting loads of effects on it. And then the third verse, and they talk about how they will play in the summer, they'd find each other like you do when you're in love and you always find the person. But there's a little twist that they're looking back in a time when they could get together, and it's left hanging whether they're a kind of same-sex couple, whether it's forbidden love or whatever. And it kind of implies that there was a time when you could be together, but now these people can't be together for whatever reason. It's all left a bit of a mystery, but there's a kind of bittersweet element to it, and a little bit more than just a normal love song, hopefully.
But here it is. This is Summer of Love.
in the summer, in the sea. We'd swim together, you and me. The shade of me is still drifting there in the blue, passing through with the ghost of you. In the fields, in the month of May, we'd lie together in the hay. The shade of me is still lying there in the dew, passing through with the ghost of you. In field and square, we'd find each other everywhere. The ghost of you was dancing there with me for all to see. When we were free.
There we go. So that was Summer of Love. That's like one of those ones, maybe like a Carpenter one, you know, where it goes nice and slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as we are fast approaching the end of the show, have you got any shout outs for anyone or anyone you'd like to have a mention?
Yeah, I'd like to mention again the singers I've worked with, the people I work with, because I'm on here, all big-headed, talking about all these songs I wrote, but they've turned the lead into gold. So Jane Reck, Swindon's finest, local radio superstar, along with you, of course, Peggy-Sue, Elodie Fielding, South London songstress, a guy called Nico Zombie, a rapper who appears on the very last song we're going to do, if I don't carry on talking and make it overrun, and the kind of the Frank Fielding brothers down in South London, all people I've kind of worked with, and they've really made it work. Joe and Jake Fielding down there. So the people I work with, and of course they make, that's part of what being in a band is about. Being on a radio show is about, is the interaction with people. So I should give a shout out to them.
To all those. And how can our listeners find all the information about all three bands?
Well, I will be setting up a website for the Storm Petrels because we're about to release a new album. As I say, it's going to be vinyl availability. Most of them you can get in contact through Your Friends of Eternal Fire on Facebook, and I will soon be setting up a Jackdaw Records page where the three bands will all be under that umbrella. Look for that. Look for Jackdaw Records everywhere.
And what's the album going to be called? Has it got a title yet?
It's going to be A Dream of Being Free.
Ooh.
That might change because it sounds a bit weird.
And of course you're on Bandcamp as well, so they can also find all three bands on Bandcamp.
Yeah, and if you are, can I ask that you do it through Bandcamp, because that's a lot fairer to creative people than any of the others, really. Yeah,
they're a lot fairer to the musicians, definitely. Yeah, against all these big corporate ones we're not going to mention. Now, the last song we are going to play, as you said, you've got a rapper on this one, is World of Wonder. So tell me the story behind this one.
It's World of Wonder to those people who are very, very old, was a magazine that was around in the 1970s and 80s that school kids read, and it showed the world as being a wonderful place, and it was like all full of history stories. This is a course of classic punk type thing where it turns it on its head, and it's a little bit cynical about it, and it's about all the promises that are made to young people about how wonderful the world's going to be, and how those promises never quite materialise. For some people, the world is a terrible place, and it's kind of it's a kind of song that turns that on its head and says, just watch out, don't always follow the rules, kind of thing.
Fair enough. So this is going to be World of Wonder, which I'm going to play in a moment. Now, thank you so much for coming in. It has been a pleasure, and it's really nice to have someone come in who's quite happy to talk about all three bands in one go, because there are many musicians out there who are part of different bands, but when they come into the studio, because they're only about that one band at that particular time, they will only talk. They do say, "Oh, I'm in another band," but it's really nice to have somebody come in and say, "Well, actually, no, here's all three bands. Here's all the music, what the type of genres they are, what type of music they are," and it is nice to know that there are people out there that are very multi-talented and that can be in more than just a one band, because it is to have that. Did you find, obviously, with the people you've worked with, do you see that they are with other bands as well?
They are. A lot of them are with other bands. And I think that's the kind of world we're in now. In the old days, you used to get a little bit upset if someone was in another band.
Yeah.
I'm being unfaithful to you. But now everyone does everything with everyone. Can I say, by the way, before we carry on, thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Your audience know this already, presumably, because they wouldn't be listening to you. But, local radio is proper radio, actually.
Oh, thank you. So, as I said, this is World of Wonder. Thank you again, Phil, for coming in. It has been an absolute pleasure. Good night, everyone, and see you on the next one.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Yes.
A world of wonder, it's a thrill, take a spill, rock the car on the Ferris wheel, roaring like an automobile. Oh, sleep, my sweet child, you'll be safe, there's a love waiting, someone for you, someone true, stand and watch as your dreams burn. Sit down, turn round to see a world of wonder. Jump up, jump down, spin round to see a world of wonder. Get a thrill, take a spill, spin round on the carousel. Riding on a horse out of hell.
Hey, 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 hey. Don't be back, most of these girls, they want me back. Hold it back like a laundry bag. I don't really care about the war we had. Thoughts are going back and forwards. I'm a hypochondriac. Eating out of doggy bags. I'm pacing like a wanted man. Ask me how I got these fangs, and I'll be taking out this contraband. I'm touring Willy Wonka's land. My hands are full of contraband. I'm not a fan of all these silly plonkers trying to rot the plan. I'm really on this. I sincerely want it, but I lost my hand. I toss and turn inside my grave. I've got these worms up in my brain. I'm from the dirt and I've emerged to get this burden off my name. I've lost the years to heal this plague. I've got these worms that keep me paying. A lot to learn, but I've been crossed and burned, trying to see some real